So I got a rhinoplasty again. Hi Dragons, what's up? It's Nikita. Welcome back to my channel.
A social media influencer arrested after she's accused of walking around naked at a hotel pool and assaulting a police officer. That was social media influencer Nikita Dragun on her YouTube channel, where she has millions and millions of followers. She's a transgender woman, and she shares things about her life on her YouTube channel, along with beauty tips and other information. Well, now she's in some hot water in Miami Beach, Florida. She's facing 3 charges for walking around a hotel pool naked, causing a disturbance, and she's also accused of assaulting a police officer who responded to the hotel. So, joining me to talk about this is Gigi Gonzalez. She is a criminal defense attorney in the Miami area. Gigi, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Anjanette. I really appreciate being here.
So, this woman, Nikita Dragun, she's staying at this hotel in Miami Beach. It is the Good Time Hotel, kind of an interesting name. And apparently, so hotel security calls the police on her. This was after 6 o'clock on Monday. They said she had been, quote, causing a disturbance for a long period of time and was walking around the pool area unclothed. And that at one point, security staff told Dragon that she couldn't do that, and she threw a water bottle at them, according to the police. Then the police arrive, and they were taken to her room where they could hear loud music. And the security explained that she needed to stop, or she could be asked to leave the property. And then she got upset about that, according to the police report, and said, opened the door and said, "Do you want more?" and swung an open bottle at the security guard and an officer, hitting them and dousing them with water. So, your thoughts on all of this? Obviously, I'm sure the people at the hotel thought, "Oh my gosh, there's somebody walking around naked around the pool. We maybe like you to put your clothes on," and then they call the police and things go on from there. So, what are your thoughts about this?
I thought that the media might have sensationalized this a bit. So I wonder if she was actually completely naked because her charges are disorderly conduct in an establishment. And when you think about disorderly conduct, it's a very broad statute, right? And there are a lot of things that, might qualify as disorderly conduct. Being drunk in public, being loud in public, getting into fights in public or in an establishment. In this case, we're talking about the Good Time Hotel in Miami Beach, which is a David Grootman Pharrell collaboration hotel. And they are notorious for good times, okay? They throw wild pool parties. You go there to have a typical Miami Beach night on the town. So I wonder exactly how nude or naked she was if she didn't pick up some sort of public indecency charge, just a disorderly conduct charge. So right off the bat, I'm thinking there's a little more to this story than her just, being loud and belligerent at a hotel. This isn't a family hotel, so even if she's topless and partying, that's kind of on par for Miami Beach.
And it sounds like you're saying this wouldn't probably be unusual at this hotel in particular. But the security staff actually called the police. I guess they felt, according to all the reporting we're seeing, that something was amiss, and that Nikita Dragon was acting up or doing things she shouldn't have been doing at their hotel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think what triggered the call to law enforcement is when she flung a water bottle at one of the security staff members, which is probably why she picked up that municipal battery. Once she threw that water bottle at security, they probably said, "All right, this is getting out of hand. Not only is she loud, not only she's uncompliant, but now she is battering hotel staff." So that's likely what triggered the call to law enforcement. And that's also probably what triggered her to return to her room and keep the partying going in her room.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see somebody going up to their room and, you know, hanging out there. You don't want me around the pool doing whatever it is I'm doing. Guess what? I'll go up to my room and I'll hang out and be kind of loud up there. So she's held on, or she was given a $2,000 bond, or posted this $2,000 bail. That just doesn't seem like a lot of money. So for somebody who's accused of assaulting an officer, now granted it was with a water bottle, but is that a typical bond down there in the Miami Beach area in your experience?
Definitely. And she got that bond because of her felony charge, the battery on the law enforcement officer. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that she ended up being released on her own recognizance at her bail hearing, which means that she doesn't have to put forward any money. She just makes a promise to the court saying, "Hey, I promise to return." And that's pretty much on par for third degree felonies, especially if you don't have a criminal history, or if you're not a risk of flight or you're not a danger to the community. And it's pretty obvious that her public defender put on a good fight for her to be released on recognizance.
For a YouTube influencer who is somebody who's on there sharing things about her life, talking about makeup tips, things of this nature, I think I saw one of the videos where she was talking about having a fourth rhinoplasty, which is a nose job, which I was like, oh my gosh, wow. I don't think this is. I mean, this probably isn't going to hurt her, I don't think, but maybe it could. I don't know. I could see her possibly, since she's somebody who goes on YouTube and makes videos about herself, using this as fodder for her channel.
Definitely. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur and your own boss, is that, you can find yourself in trouble with law enforcement, find yourself caught up in the criminal justice system, and it's not going to have too much of an impact, at least on your employment opportunities. And as far as how she's perceived in the public eye, I actually believe that this might help her, considering her treatment at TGK when she was misgendered and booked as a male into the male jail system. I think that that's going to garner a lot of attention for her and for trans rights activists. And hopefully, it might just spark a change in the criminal justice system as to how trans people are treated within the criminal justice system.
That is an interesting point. It's interesting you bring that up because she's definitely, I mean, she's transgender. She identifies as a woman. She does not identify as male and was booked into, the male part of the jail, as you say. And there's also actually, she had posted on her Instagram page, she lives on social media, this is what she does. Some videos of her at the hotel, and she appears to be behaving herself. She's sitting at a table eating some food and sitting at a bench. You can see, I think, what is possibly the pool outside. Obviously, she's not walking around there naked. So, if you are representing Nikita Dragun, I mean, what is your recommendation to her at this point in time? Are you saying to her, yeah, you can go out there and talk about this on your YouTube channel? Or are you just like, hey, lay low? Let's try to work this out, resolve this? I mean, what steps do you take?
Considering that Nikita Dragon is a influencer and she monetizes her content by discussing her life. This isn't someone that has some sort of business channel, or well, it is a business channel, but it's not a topic specific channel. She talks about her life experiences as a trans woman. And part of this experience has been her experience as a trans woman in the criminal justice system. So typically, I wouldn't advise my clients to speak about their case publicly, and I wouldn't advise Nikita Dragon to publicly speak on the actual case. But I think I would celebrate her speaking as her experience within her experience at TGK, going through the booking process, the jail system as a trans woman, in order to shed light on this human rights issue.
There is this felony charge though that she faces. I mean, it's a pretty serious charge. I don't know what Miami-Dade prosecutors would do, but the felony charge of battery on a law enforcement officer for the water bottle. Um, you know, she's accused of basically hitting a police officer. I mean, it's still a pretty serious charge. I mean, do you see her actually getting convicted of this? Do you see them thinking, you know what, maybe this is maybe we don't need to be wasting time and resources on this type of thing when we have other crimes we could be focusing on? I mean, what do you see happening with this?
Well, you see a lot of charges and arrests on batteries on law enforcement, especially here in Miami. They take that very seriously here. And the punishment is pretty sizable, even though it's a third degree felony. She's facing up to 5 years in prison or probation and a $5,000 fine. So it's a very serious charge. Now, when you consider the unique facts of the case, okay, the fact that we're talking about a water bottle, likely a plastic water bottle that was thrown into law enforcement. And we don't know all the facts. Is this a law enforcement that is performing in within his duties? Is this officer, dressed as a cop? Does he have his badge? Does he have his gun? Does he announce himself as law enforcement? Because her defense could be that she didn't know it was law enforcement. She thought it was a security officer that maybe he was harassing her. Maybe she felt a reason that she had to go back to her room because she felt like she was being unjustly targeted because she was a trans woman, because she might have been partying a little bit harder than everybody else, whatever might have been going through her mind. Maybe she felt like she had to protect herself in that moment. So those could be possible defense strategies at her disposal. Do I think she's going to go, if she goes to trial, will she get 5 years in prison? I don't think so. We're talking about a water bottle being flown, at law enforcement. It is a battery. It is a third degree felony, but I don't see her being punished so severely.
Yeah, and I certainly wasn't trying to minimize the seriousness of I mean, it's a very serious charge, battery on a law enforcement officer, but I'll be interested to see how this is resolved. Gigi Gonzalez, a criminal defense attorney in Miami, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's always a joy being on with you, Angie.
And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. It is produced by Logan Harris, Michael Deininger, and Sam Goldberg. Bobby Zoki is our YouTube manager. Alyssa Fisher handles our bookings, and Kiara Bronson does our social media. You can download and listen to Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. You can also watch it, as always, on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Anjanette Levy, and we will see you next time.